Hello there. Just want to give a quick little walking tour. It's the end of July, July 28th, and this is what everything is looking like, and I'm very excited to show my trellising that I did for the morning glories, and that's starting to really show and take shape. And there's just a lot of pretty things out this morning, so let's take a quick look. So this is the entrance to the raised bed area, and sunflowers are opening up. I just cut this one back. The goldfinches loved munching on the seeds, so if I want any chance of saving seeds, I am going to have to cut off a flower head or two. Once the petals die back, I'll cut off a flower head or two and save these seeds because I love the size. They're not especially tall. They're probably 3 feet tall at least. So I'm definitely going to save some of those. And up here is where I started that trellising with the twine and brought it down. So morning glories are just closing up for the morning. It's late morning, so they're closing up already, but that's trailing nicely. So that'll come across. We'll just stay on the outside for now. And then on this side, the same thing. And this one I knew needed the most trellising because this is a very, very short netting here. So it's coming all the way across. This has got 2 vines. I'm just every day coming and just re-guiding it, and they're just doing great. I'm excited to see. I do have purple, but there's blue morning glories out here, and there's pink as well. And I brought a few more varieties for next year that I'm really excited about. That bud's just about to pop open. You know, it's a little blurred there. Not that you have to see it too well, but there's one. And then out here also, I'll show you this view of the mint is just bushing out so pretty. So I hope, my idea is to keep the mint in this container and overwinter it and see if it'll come back next year and I won't have to buy mint anymore. I don't use it often, but I know I just love the way it smells. I love the way it looks. Just the green foliage in here, and I can pop it in water. I can pop it in salads and things like that. So I like to keep it on hand. And I know if you put it in the ground, it will overtake. It spreads like crazy. So keeping it in something like this would be ideal. The ground cherries are really taking off. Oh, I lost one. There is one hiding back in there, and I moved the crate, and there were just a horde of earwigs just in between the board and the crate. So I just scattered some 7 dust, and I'm gonna really hope that that does the trick. If not, I don't know. But I was not interested in grabbing that one with all those earwigs around, so it can get eaten by the bugs. This has a ton of fruit on it left. You can see it's all still covered, but I have a bowl full that I'll show you what I've picked so far. And again, you don't pick ground cherries. They decide. They drop when they're ready. I can see one right there that's dropped that way too. So I gotta go grab that one so I don't forget. But yeah, ground cherries drop themselves when they're ready. So that's the nice thing about those. There's no guessing when to pick. And then if they drop too early and they're green, don't eat them. See if they'll ripen up a little bit more on the counter for you, and then you can eat them. But you can't eat them green. They're toxic at that stage, so they will make you sick. We have sunflowers in all corners. That one's about to open, and I love that these are I don't know what the wording would be, multiple buds on here, whereas a lot of sunflower varieties just have the one bloom at the very top and then that's it. Good morning, Mr. Bumblebee. Hi there. Seeing lots of good pollinators lately. Very excited about that. Japanese beetles are not as prevalent as they once were. I did a second trap. They really start to stink. So make sure you dispose of your traps. I just kind of toss them under an old perennial, my lily of the valley back there. I just drop them down in there because that's not a place I have to go this time of year. So, and I haven't noticed it bothering anybody with the smells. I have to deadhead that marigold back there, but this guy's popping up through the fence. So this is the peppermint stick. This is the Envy. I love the Envy. The green is really pretty. One color I don't really have, I don't think, of zinnias are purples. I have lots of really dark pinks, light pinks, reds, orange, plenty of other yellow flowers. I don't think I have yellow zinnia, but getting lots of color. But now look, I'll go inside. I've got all sorts of bees flying around these sunflowers, but you can see they've got multiple heads on there, and there is one inside that has opened up, so looking really pretty. So I'll come inside here. Don't trip. I trip almost every other day on that thing. This is my 42-day tomato. It's almost done. I'm gonna let some of these, I only have a handful of tomatoes left to pick, and then that plant is done. It's a determinate tomato, meaning it will give you one nice heavy flush of fruit and then it's done. It's not going to produce all season. So that's going to get pulled soon, and that'll just open this up to be a flower bed and some basil. So this bed is looking awfully pretty. The marigolds are huge. The cosmos back there, and nasturtium. Cucumber, I'm going to stop pruning off the flowers. I'm at the point where whatever happens, happens. So there's some flowers on there. It looks like there might be some fruit, but it's small. I don't know what's going to happen. So again, that was gifted to me, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. Here's a multi-head one. So it's got a nice open flower on this side. It's about to lose its petals on the main flower, but then it's got that guy about to open and then one behind it. And then, oh, there was that cherry tomato, ground cherry I had to pick. We got nice rain yesterday, about a ½ inch. It was fantastic. I watered yesterday morning. It was a 90+ degree day, and then the rain came, so I did not have to water today. So that's always a nice thing. Take a break for once. Oh, beautiful. Sunflower there. Just, they're all starting to open. The sweet pea still doing well. My torpedo onions, that's probably the biggest one. I picked one yesterday, or either yesterday or the day before. It's probably yesterday. And it's hanging in my garage to dry. I can show you if I remember. And I'm going to test out drying them because I have all these onions. I'm going to have to pick them eventually. But the neck had broken on that one. Like, even though, let's see if I can get you in here. Even though this one's curved, it's not broken. It's just bent over. So that one doesn't need to be picked. Not many of these need to be picked. This green onion needs to be picked. That one needs to be picked. That's a bent neck. But you have the ones that are just, they curved from the wind and falling over, and those can stay and they will continue to grow. Then I have my 2 rows of carrots, still not thinning out. You can wait until they're a bit more mature to thin them out. But right now, they're just, you know, little tiny itty bitty skinny roots down in the ground. So if you let them get a little bit bigger, you might, when you thin them out, get a tiny carrot and actually be able to eat it and benefit from it rather than pulling the plant entirely. And then we have my 3 rows of Yeticule lettuce, and we've got our beets in here doing well. These beet leaves are looking really nice. I'm just not sure. Ooh, nope, that's a leaf. I'm just not sure when to pick them. They look nice. These aren't really doing much. I replanted some spinach seeds. There, did not come up. Here, did not come up. But 2 there they're doing great. So that's the spinach I have. Let's see how many I ended up with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plenty. I'm happy with that. These are the new green pod beans that are just huge. These are the big Hunas. And then we have the yellow and the Triumph. And then I randomly placed extra plants in other areas, so we'll see. I don't remember which ones I moved. Snapdragons, I've still got some carrots on this end. I'm gonna just see how big they can get. They're constantly being thinned out, so maybe they'll continue to get bigger. And then I counted the other day, and do you remember how many seeds I planted of this sugar snap peas? 20. They all germinated. So I'm gonna have 20 beautiful sugar snap pea plants ready for fall picking. Can't wait. I cleared out this area yesterday. I've got to clean up my mess, but since they're all wet, I'm gonna wait until it dries a little bit. It'll get nice and warm today, so they'll dry. So daylilies have died back, so that's gonna require some cleaning up. And then check out the columbine. I got it right this time. The columbine, there are 4 plants there. If you remember and you watch back at one of my videos where I planted these, they look fantastic. This area gets absolutely no sun and they're loving it. Then we come over here to the few that I place on this side and this side. They look great. I'm just thrilled. So I'm so excited for next year. All the perennials that I did this year, I won't see any real action or flowers from them until next year. So something really to look forward to. Here are my pansies, and my snapdragons are bringing on another flush. These are the Bazaar mix. So you've got some that have like little flecks. There you go. Those are little flecks of red. It's not dirt. That's the color of the snapdragon. But then you have these bicolored on this side. And then you have these with a little flush of yellow in the middle. It's just so fun. The different colors that come from one variety. Super fun. All right, over here, these are my cosmos that we planted from seed, and the only buds I'm seeing is on this variety. But this ferny one, it's the variety that I talked about in one of my last videos, could have been the most recent, where only one of them produced a flower and the rest of them are just getting big and bushy. This is 3 plants right here. And I don't see a single bud on any of them. I don't know what that's about. So I'm gonna have to check back what variety it is and maybe rethink getting that variety. Because who knows, it could be just the variety and they're just that finicky. And then, let's see, beautiful marigold, pesky Japanese beetle. I'll come back if I remember. This cherry, it's definitely a cherry tomato, is doing great in this pot. And I'm thinking, back when I was first planning things out, thinking about tomato plants and where I wanted to plant them, I did not want to use an abundance of dirt to fill pails, and I got lazy about it and I didn't want to do it. So then I have all these extra pots that are hanging pot. I think they're 14-inch, if I remember correctly. They're 14-inch pots, and if this one thrives in here, that's what I'm gonna put them in next year. And if you remember back, I just took two blocks, cement blocks, and I just placed them underneath, put the pot on, and then I staked, I'll turn you around again, I staked right down through a drainage hole. And if the drainage hole isn't big enough for you, then just drill in another hole or whatever you need to use to get a hole in there. And then I staked it down, and it's right in between the cement blocks into the direct ground. So that is the system for this particular tomato plant. It just looks so nice. It's getting fruit on it. I have not trimmed it back. It is just an experimental thing because it volunteered, and here we are. I'm happy. Up here we've got the yarrow, the marigolds, sweet alyssums, strawberries. It's a small strawberry in a very cramped space, surrounded by a ton of stuff. I don't pick very often, but if I see a red one, I pick it and I just eat it right away. That's basically what these strawberries are for. Ideally next year, I'll search out some strawberries that produce a bit bigger fruit and put them in my new green stalk planter. And then I'm getting a ton of orange hat tomatoes. Oh, it looks like there's a darker one I could pick in there, but look how many tomatoes on such a small plant. These are dwarf tomato plants, and I'm just in love. So exciting. The jalapenos are loaded. Just so many good things at the end of July to share. Gomphrena, marigolds. I don't know what's happening to the straw flower here, but it's getting all brown at the bottom. I'm not entirely certain. The flower still looks great, so I don't know. Cosmo, this cherry tomato that I thought was gonna hit the dust, and it's producing lots, and it's still growing. So it may not be the prettiest cherry tomato plant, but it's surviving, so that's great. I always skip over down here. There is a coneflower in here, an echinacea coneflower. So nice, beautiful, bushy leaves on here. So that will hopefully come back next year. Down here, another perennial is a yarrow. So I have so much to look forward to when all this dies back. Spring comes, and I can see exactly where I put all of my perennials, and that's something I really have to make note of so that I don't pull things that start to come back next year. That's going to be a learning experience when the time comes. All the hollyhocks, I would imagine, will be pretty easy to identify. They're getting huge. And then, so what I have since learned from our last time that I talked about them is next year is when they grow in height. This year they're just building foliage. Next year is when they start to grow the tall stalk, and they grow taller each year. So I don't know if that means they die back to the ground and they just get more energy each year they come back. I'm not sure, but I know every time I drive past people's homes that have hollyhocks, I just think they're so stunning. Just a nice little centerpiece. And I think along the fence line there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then there's one over there, 7. I've got 7 back here, and they're all doing wonderful. I've got some nice clumps of zinnia here. That's actually one zinnia plant. I think I cut it once, and it just bushed out so much. I'm loving the baby's breath, so next year I've got to find a way to make it stand up better, and then how I'm going to plant them exactly. There is a columbine hiding down there. There is a daisy hiding down there. So a couple more perennials, more straw flower. Down here, lavender. I'm definitely gonna have to dig those up if the hollyhocks get bushy like that at the bottom every year also. This one is getting huge, and it's so sad that it's being hidden. But I will definitely have to dig those out, I think, and move them. There's asters all throughout These asters I'm very curious about because I've heard that asters can overtake a garden. I don't know if they'll come back as a perennial either, if they reseed themselves or not. I'm sure a lot of things do. They really do. If you let the flower die back, let it dry, it will produce seeds, and then if they drop, most often they will reseed themselves. This cluster makes me nervous of all the calendula because I know how easily they will reseed. I've been cutting back and cutting back. So they've really thinned out, but I mean, it's still massive. It's hiding out my poor little chrysanthemum down there that is trying to grow. So that's in there. And then I have another yarrow hiding in here, and there is a columbine hiding in here. I feel like I should have just pulled that nasturtium to let those two things grow, but I didn't. This Gomphrena, I love, love, love that color, and it is a mix of color. In the bag, I thought they were just purple from what I could visualize of the packet, but no, it could have whites in there too. The packet shows purple and white. I'm really happy for that dusty rose. That used to be one of my favorite colors when I was a kid. My sister and I shared a bedroom, and that is the color that we chose for all of our like bedding and sheets and decorations. It was that dusty rose. It was very in, I think, back in the 90s, that color. So I'm happy to see it in my garden. This is an Easter lily that I got this year, Easter time, and it's popping up a little baby lily on the side. So I've got to dig all of this grass or pull this grass, and that way Bill doesn't accidentally mow it or chop it down when you weed wax. Then the dill is doing fine. I've got a few down there. There's a critter hole, love that. Some more straw flower, marigolds everywhere. This Cosmo that has not flowered. There's nasturtium, all sorts of things. There, down here is chamomile, German chamomile, gigantic, hollyhock, bachelor buttons, zinnias. Same pattern. There's a columbine in here as well. That one might have to be moved. So yeah, perennials are gonna have to move around a little bit. The columbine that are more in the sun on this side of the bed will probably end up over here so that they're more in the shade. This corner spot stays shaded for a good portion of the day. So I'm gonna take you over, I think, to the front. Well, let's go to the side. All the pansies and calendulas doing great. Look how pretty. That's my sweet pea over here. That is thriving. Trying to get another flush back of these falling daisy, but I'm not seeing very many buds. I did a fertilizing not very long ago, so I was hoping that would help it out, but I'm sure they'll come back. They always do. Sweet alyssum trailing beautifully. Those gorgeous red begonias. I really enjoy these too. I didn't highlight that, but the yellow center, it's just so pretty. And then this hanging basket, I need to get something to hang from here. Some decoration of some kind. But that impatient with the creeping Jenny. This is a highlight right now. Can you just believe how gorgeous that turned out this year? With the convolvulus, the impatiens, and then the creeping Jenny. It's just too pretty. My favorite by far. This, I don't know how well in the sun you can see. I can't see my screen very well, but this one is still looking beautiful. Love this one. This is definitely a favorite this year. So glad this one's coming. This one still has not gotten another flush of buds on here. I don't know if that's something you cut back, but that's all right. Still got lots of prettiness to it. And then I guess I can come up here. You can see out there that basket's doing really well. That has the nasturtium and marigolds. This beautiful basket. Patience, begonias, and creeping Jenny. Calendula. I have not seen my katydid in here for a while. With the Dusty Miller, snapdragons, viola, pansies. Look at this. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but that is spider web around there, and it's trailing. You can see I gotta cut that, maybe spray it with some neem. Maybe just trim it back entirely. The leaves are looking a little worse for wear. There's that pansy. Still living. Still gonna let it continue until we get closer to fall, and I'll fill it with something. I'll fill it with something else. And then we'll quick take a trip to the front because holy moly. Look at this. This Limelight hydrangea is just so bright and so pretty. Flowers, right now they don't really have smell to me. I thought they had a scent, but it's not popping. But it's just gorgeous. This is still doing well with the petunias and the creeping Jenny. The dahlia could be better. The marigold could be better, but they're hidden and it's quite all right. And then these baskets look great in the front. My begonia's popping out of the middle. Hosta's wanting to come back. This basket's looking a lot better. That Supertunia is doing much, much better. I'm waiting for those snapdragons that are in here and over there. You can see they're starting to come up in the back. And I'm waiting for them to show some color, but they're taking their time. Here, bug damage. Bug damage. I should spray some neem on this guy, but that is a coneflower and a Shasta daisy with some begonias mixed in. Shasta daisy looks great. Got some cleanup to do on the side. I will pull all of these flowers, spent heads. Those are all probably seeds. I need to get rid of those so it doesn't really reseed itself. Maybe that's the problem with this. Gotta clean out these lilies. I just gotta wait for them to get a little bit more brown, and then they pull really easily out of the ground. And that's it, folks. That is a whole outside perimeter of my house with everything going on. So quicker this time. Look at that. This is what I mentioned also, is that I was going to show you my onion that was curing. So I have it out here on my porch in our 3-season room, and if it has good airflow, which this is my little mini greenhouse, and as I am pulling onions, I will bring them out here because I'm not going to use them all right away. So you want them to be able to cure. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks. You'll know they're done when all of the green stalk has browned and gotten all crispy. It's already starting to do that, and I only pulled this yesterday. I knew to pick it because the neck had broken completely, so you want to make sure you pull those. You can let them dry out in the soil, but if you're in an area that gets a lot of rain, that may not work out so well for you. It would take longer to dry them out. They may be more susceptible to mold issues when you eventually put them on your counter. the roots will dry back as well. So to put them in an area that is warm, good airflow, it'll dry out more quickly and without the risk of mold or other issues that may arise. So this is where I have it. As I find more onions, I will be filling this rack. That is it. It is just a beautiful day outside. In the shade, it feels so nice. I love it, but it's gonna be another hot day today, so I'll be hiding indoors, editing some videos probably, playing some video games. All right, so I'm gonna close this out. I hope you enjoyed that little mini tour, and I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye. Right now I'm playing Jedi Fallen Order.